Hey guys, how you doing? After a very busy weekend, I am doing just great. Slammiversary ended a couple hours ago. Didn't get a preview video up for this one because, well, A, I wasn't around, to be perfectly honest with you, and B, I really didn't know what to expect or where to go with this pay-per-view prediction-wise. Anyways, little side note, 5 days till I go to Impact in Toronto, which is going to be awesome. You know, anybody who's going to come back to me, yeah, you wasted your money, yeah, you shouldn't go to Impact, yeah, Impact is bullshit. Suck my dick. It's going to be a while till WrestleMania comes back to Toronto, so I gotta take what I can get, I guess. There were a lot of matches on this show that initially on face value I didn't know what to do with them because I didn't know where they would go, and therefore I didn't know what to predict out of them. So that, combined with me being very busy this weekend, led to me having no preview video for this. So anybody that gave a shit about that, I'm very sorry. Yeah, let's get to it. First match of the night was the Tag Team Championships being defended by Gun Money, which is, I guess, the name for Alex Shelley and James Storm, because Robert Roode is injured, taking on the British Invasion. Now, here are my two main issues with this match before we even get started. It's a great match on paper. Friggin' the Guns are great, Beer Money's great, the British Invasion are great. But it's one of those matches where it's kind of like, where the hell did this come from? I mean, they just threw British Invasion back together, where they already have a couple other solid tag teams, like Gen Me, like Motor City Machine Guns, like Inc., like Mexican America, that have been in the tag team picture, or tag team title picture, I should say, in the past little while. And then for one of their most main pay-per-views of the year, they pulled a team back together out of obscurity, and hey, here's your main event tag team match for the night. So I don't object to them being there, it's just they really didn't cut and paste any reason for them to be there. The second issue I have with this, and we all know, everybody says it in one form or another, tag team wrestling in general, be it TNA or WWE, is going down the toilet and can't be taken very seriously at all. Now, how seriously are your tag team titles taken when one of your champions is out and it's like, oh, we'll just, you know, have somebody sub in for him, so, you know, anybody that shows up that day can fill in as a champion. I understand they had to do it for whatever reason, but it takes away a little bit. If anybody can do it, then it's not special anymore. It's not representative of what you've actually, in theory, accomplished. But yeah, that being said, Bobby Roode is on commentary. Storm and Shelley come up with some really interesting sort of interesting tandem offense, because there's a lot of Beer Money tandem offense and there's a lot of Motor City Machine Gun tandem offense, but with the Guns it's obviously, you know, the high-paced, high acrobatic type stuff, and with Beer Money it's more or less, you know, punch you in the face times two. Best example in this particular match was Alex Shelley doing the backflip, where he holds the guy in a chokehold, and where his partner on a normal basis would, you know, run the ropes and get him with a nice drop kick. But, you know, James Storm runs the ropes a couple times, getting a good head of steam, then he pauses and pokes him in the eye. It's stuff like that that, you know, it would be different, and if wrestling was real, it would be hard to predict, or hard to scout the team that you're facing if you don't know how they're gonna put stuff like that together. So that was good. At least they didn't try to like James Storm didn't try to do Motor City Machine Gun moves, and Alex Shelley didn't try to do Beer Money moves. So it was good that way. It made more sense. Just in general, they made a pretty decent team for a team that was thrown together a week ago. I have to say that. British Invasion, on the other hand, were kind of surprising too. I mean, they're the technical guys. Like, I look at British Invasion and I kind of see a cross between, like, you know, somebody like Benoit or Daniel Bryan crossed with somebody like William Regal, and it's what British Invasion makes me think of. So, you know, they're working on, you know, some submissions, some chain wrestling, but there's also, for two guys that aren't that big, they had a lot of shows of strength and shows of power in the match. Was a pleasant surprise from them. A couple other high spots in the match. Shelley and Storm double suplexed one of the British Invasion guys onto the other ones. Alex Shelley had a really nice suicide dive inside the ring to outside the ring. And I'm not going to sit here like a total idiot Mark and say, oh, he's the best high flyer there ever is. But, you know, you look at something like a suicide dive, and Alex Shelley does it as good as anybody else you can think of. So it has to be mentioned. Near the end of the match, there's a little bit of a miscue between Storm and Shelly. You know, Storm gets the beer in Shelly's face. Shelly turns around and kicks him in the head. For a split second, I thought, oh shit, here we go. Alex Shelley is going to cost them the tag team titles, and we're going to have a Motor City Machine Guns and Beer Money rivalry all over again. Which, you know, from a year ago when they had their Best of 5 series, it was some of the best tag team wrestling I've seen in a long time. I don't have any problem saying that. But we've seen it, and they're both face. And every time they try to have a face-on-face rivalry, one of them becomes heel, and you don't really believe it. So I didn't want to see that. But they pulled their shit back together. Super kick from Storm, sliced bread number 2 from Alex Shelley, and Gun Money are still your tag team champions. Great opening match. You know, for those of you WWE fans out there that really want to shit on TNA, Tag Team Wrestling TNA kicks WWE's ass without even trying. So, great way to open the pay-per-view. But it's not like we could stay with that high momentum, could we? Because next we have Steiner and Morgan, which was a very, very blah, boring piss break of a big man on big man match. There was one good spot in this match where Matt Morgan had Scott Steiner in the electric chair drop position, and Scott Steiner, to his credit, was able to get a victory roll from on top of 7-foot Matt Morgan and for a 2 count. So that was, I will give them, quite impressive, and they pulled that off quite well. The rest of it was botchamania with 2 big guys that I really don't give a shit about. It was an excuse for Scott Steiner to go out there and be cocky for 10 minutes, and it didn't do anything for Matt Morgan. But Carbon Footprint gets the win for Matt Morgan, and we move on from the bullshit. Or so you would think. You guys all know I am a big fan of the X Division. We had the X Division Triple Threat match next. Abyss is the X Division champion right now. Is there anybody more polar opposite of the X Division than Abyss? We could resurrect Andre or Yokozuna, and they would be better X Division champions than Abyss is. But we have a triple threat match with Abyss taking on Kaz and Kendrik, Brian Kendrik, for the X Division title, or as Abyss has dubbed it, the Extreme title, because that's original. Anyway, so as you can probably expect, Kaz and Kendrik double team him for most of the match, and there's a big feeling of, okay, they're going to take Abyss out quickly, make him look stupid, and then they're going to have a decent X Division match, which is what I really hoped would happen. But eventually Abyss starts coming back and just ragdolls both of them. When he's on the offensive, especially because he's up against 2 guys that are so fast, he starts looking slow and sluggish and just unimpressive as hell very quickly. But Kendrik hits, just cuts off all his offense with a really nice looking top rope tornado DDT, and they go back to double teaming Abyss until they run into each other. They have a little, Kendrik and Kaz have a little like 2-minute spat between each other. Basically Abyss takes advantage of it and steals the belt and leaves. I'm glad to see Kendrik and Kazarian get pay-per-view time. I'm glad that the X Division title, even though it's not on somebody that I really like, is getting the time that it deserves. Putting it on Abyss, it's another Hogan move, isn't it? That's pretty much all I can say about that. And that was the only X Division contribution to this pay-per-view, so that was a waste of the X Division. There we go. And we're on to page 2. Crimson and Samoa Joe. Now, I thought going into this match, because they haven't given Crimson much, other than he's on this roll, and he's Amazing Red's little brother, they haven't given him very much as far as a character. He just comes in and kicks the shit out of people and leaves. He's kind of like, I hesitate to say this, but he's kind of like Goldberg, where he doesn't really have a destination. It's just that he's going to knock over whatever's in front of him. And I don't really know ever what they're doing with Joe anymore. Whether they're trying to make him a badass face, like an Austin, or whether they're trying to make him come off like a prick, because he does both in the span of about 10 minutes. which it's kind of like British Invasion being thrown into the first match. I didn't know whether we were supposed to, you know, boo them because they were going up against a more popular team, or just be like, okay, you're there, and that's that. But give them their due for intensity, because the first minute of this match was an intense brawl, until Samoa Joe gets a really nasty-looking dragon leg whip on Crimson, and after that, of course, the whole story of the match becomes the story of Crimson's knee. Crimson does hit a really interesting-looking DDT at one point, because he actually jumps up and grabs him to get extra leverage on the DDT, which I thought was really, really cool. Crimson has taken to using the spear. Another reason people are comparing him to Goldberg a lot. But I will say that the spear in this match was good. They only did it once, which means they didn't overkill it, which was great. The other thing is, I watch him do the spear, and as much as Edge hasn't even hardly left us yet, I will say he kind of, the way he does this, pulls off a spear, reminds me of Edge. He's a taller, lankier guy. He's not trying to make himself look big like a Goldberg or like a Rhino. He does it in a different sort of way. And to Joe's credit, there are a lot of people that when they get hit by a spear try to oversell it, and he didn't. He went down like he was supposed to go down. It looked effective, and that was great. Impressive looking sit-down powerbomb from Crimson gets him the win. So obviously his little streak, whatever he's doing, is going to keep going. Mickie James and Angelina Jolie. Angelina, love. I am really tired, guys. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking forward to this match. A, it's a Divas match. Sorry. B, they've got this whole thing where Angelina Love is all, you know, she's in her altered state, and when she's in her altered state, she doesn't feel any pain. Well, that knocks out any possibility of there being any ring psychology, doesn't it? She says in a promo before the match starts, when Winter's about to give her medicine, that she doesn't need it because she's finally seen the light, and she gets a little bit of a sarcastic look on her face. So I'm thinking, great, maybe this is over. Maybe she's going to turn on Winter and things are going to go back to normal and she's going to stop walking around like a fucking zombie. But no, Winter hits a powerbomb for interference on Mickie James about midway through the match. Other than that, it is a Mickie James showcase with a great Northern Light suplex, a great top rope Thez press, her typical jumping DDT to win the match, which she did botch, but, you know, it's one of those things where if fighting was real, it wouldn't always look pretty, so I don't know what to tell you. Jumping DDT for Mickie James gets her the win. She keeps the belt. They attack her after the match, and life goes on as usual. Now, we get to Bully Ray and AJ Styles in the Last Man Standing match. And I will say, before we go on, the tag team match at the beginning of the night and this match were the best matches of the night. Give them all the credit that they deserve, because I did not think this match could be good. Before this match, I wasn't sold on Bully Ray as a singles athlete, as a singles wrestler. This was the match for me that solidified Bully Ray as a singles wrestler. Second of all, AJ Styles is a technical, high-flying X Division type guy. I didn't think he would do good in a brawl, and he did. So, give credit to AJ Styles, who I wasn't giving credit to. Give newly acquired credit to Bully Ray in his lot as a singles wrestler. We have brawling all over the place, typical like almost ECW-ish stuff. What really started that off was what somebody called the steel facelift, which was basically one set of stairs up on its end, and Bully Ray lifting AJ up completely and dropping him, and his body falling and his head hitting the side of the steps, and he, you know, sells it because he's a fucking champ. My thought with this was there are certain people that go into hardcore matches, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go grab a weapon because I can, and then they're just like, grab a weapon, do whatever they're gonna do. And there's other people that as soon as they have weapons, it just becomes an extension of themselves, and that is especially true with the guys that came from ECW, so Bully Ray obviously being one of those. Styles gets a top rope Pele on Bully Ray, but Bully Ray comes back with a second rope sit-down powerbomb. Styles, later in the match, hits a great outside-in springboard 450 splash on Bubba. Styles actually lifts up and throws Bully Ray out of the ring. I'm not really sure why it was in the match, but it was one of those holy shit, that just happened type of things, which was cool. Hits an amazing looking flying forearm off the stage after Bully Ray threatens to powerbomb him off the stage like he did a few months ago. Sets up a table under the stage with Bully Ray on it, climbs up to the staging by the entranceway, decides that's not high enough, climbs halfway up the truss at the side of the stage, decides that's not far enough, climbs to the top of the truss, decides, okay, I'm far enough now, elbow drops Bully Ray, which would have been an awesome way for him to win, except for as soon as he got up to his feet, Bully Ray, who's still flat on his back, gives him a little bit of a nudge. He goes headfirst through the announce booth and loses. It's like, but Bully Ray gets hit with boom, 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 high impact after high impact after high impact, you know, building to a climax, building to a finish, and he just goes and wins. This would be the perfect hardcore match if it wasn't for the ending. Other than the ending, which is obviously, you know, bad booking and all that shit, match of the night by far. Like I say, I'm a big fan of AJ Styles. Not so much a fan of Bully Ray. I wasn't giving either of them the credit they deserved going into this match. I will give them the credit they deserve now. They did a hell of a job. Match of the night. Oh yes. Except for the ending. I need to say that again. Sting and Anderson was meh. Anderson got up there to do his little Anderson thing and gets cut off by Sting, who didn't even have an entrance. Didn't bother wearing a t-shirt, didn't bother wearing his little sequin, you know, jacket that he borrowed from Elton John. He just snuck up behind Anderson, cut off his beginning promo, and started beating him down. And it wasn't until a couple seconds into the beatdown that I noticed Sting's face paint was fucked up. And I guess it's supposed to represent that he's, you know, snapped or gone off the deep end or some shit like that. But it kind of looked, and I was brainstorming throughout the match, because that's how exciting this match was. It was sort of a hybrid of his own face paint, the Joker from Heath Ledger's version of the Joker, the Crow, if anybody's seen that, and Jeff Hardy. It was just all smeared, and it's supposed to look all crazy and shit like that. You know, he's going all nuts, he's being all maniacal, and he's laughing, and he's got this sort of evil grin on his face while he's beating Anderson all through the aisleways and through the audience, and da-da-da-da-da. I watched the clock, because like I said, this match was so exciting. There was a good 8 to 10 minutes they just spent in the crowd doing bullshit. As soon as they got into the ring, Anderson took over, started working on Sting's arm. Sting fought his way back somehow, was about to put Anderson in the Scorpion Deathlock, and Bischoff comes down. And I'm like, alright, this match just went to shit, if it wasn't there already. Bischoff was around the ring like a little fucking cheerleader trying to distract everybody. Sting hits the Scorpion Death Drop and gets a 2 count, which Sting thinks is a 3 count, because Bischoff comes in and slaps his hand down for a 3rd time. Sting thinks he's won. He gets up and da-da-da-da-da, turns around, low blow, mic check, and Anderson is your new champion. I can't take the world title seriously in TNA. I try to. I really do. But it hasn't had any face value since the 1-minute match with Jeff Hardy. And here's your proof. The championship match was not the main event. The #1 contenders match was the main event. Oh yes. Angle and Jarrett, I did not even write any fucking notes for. There was everything in this match that you could possibly have. There was, there was the stroke. There was there wasn't a figure 4, which I was surprised by. There was Jarrett stealing the ankle lock. There was a ref getting bumped so that Jarrett could use the guitar. There was Angle hitting the moonsault and missing like he always does. There was Angle doing the top rope suplex. There was ankle lock after ankle lock after ankle lock after ankle lock. There was Angle slams. There was this. There was that. There was, Jeff Jarrett and all his bravado. There was multiple attempts at a tombstone, which if you hold somebody in the upside down position long enough, and then they reverse so that you're doing it, and then they reverse so that you're holding them again, without actually dropping them, it just looks really awkward after a while. That's the one thing I do have to say about this match. But it was a great match. It was great to finally see the match happen with no bullshit. And I say no bullshit because the ref bump and the guitar shot is legitimate heel building, story building stuff for the match. So it's not bullshit. Like, there was no Immortal, which was great. Kurt Angle didn't have anybody backing him up either, which is per usual. Karen Jarrett, you know, is injured now, and she had her little whiny bit from home before the match started. It's great. He gets to keep his medal. He's going to fight Anderson at the next pay-per-view, I'm guessing. The only thing that bothers me about that is we've seen Angle and Anderson before, and I'd like to see something new. But other than that, you know, Angle, I don't think they'll give Angle the belt because Angle's got too many other things on his plate right now, but Angle and Anderson will put on a good match, and this and that and the other thing. Yeah, so that was the show. Like I said, AJ Styles and Bully Ray was the match of the night. I don't know where they're going to go from there. I don't know what they're going to do with gun money once, I'm sure once, you know, Bobby Roode is healed up again, he'll come back and want his belt back, and Alex won't want to give it back, and there'll be another rivalry between the Guns and Beer Money. I can see that coming a while away. I really hope they take the X Division title off Abyss and let the X Division go back to prominence, because even though Hogan and Bischoff have shat on the X Division, the next pay-per-view, which I saw a preview of at the end of this show, is Destination X, where we will have the X Division title defended, we will have Ultimate X, we will have, what the hell other X Division matches are there? There's a couple different other X. I hope they have the big, I don't know what they called that thing. They had two different names for it. I know they called it the Terror Dome at one point, but that big dome enclosure, the X Division Escape match. I really hope they do that again. The last time they did that, it was basically a promotional tool for bringing in Jeff Hardy. So I don't know how that's gonna work. But the main point of all this, for Destination X, they are bringing back the six-sided ring. And that makes the most sense out of anything TNA has done in a while. Because if you're going to bring back the six-sided ring, the only ones it really matters to are the X Division, because they're the ones doing all the high-flying, rebounding shit. If you've got two guys pounding each other in the center of the ring, they don't care what size the ring is. If you've got two guys grappling or trying to make each other submit in the middle of the ring, they don't give a shit what the shape or size of the ring is. The only ones that need to know the shape and size of the ring are the ones that use it, and that, oh yes, is the X Division. So that's that. As far as TNA goes, like I said, I'm going to Impact next Friday. I will maybe, if they do something stupendously impressive while I am there, I will do a special video just for that. Other than that, the next time TNA fans will hear from me will be just before or just after Destination X. This has been your review of Slammiversary 9 2011 for TNA Impact Wrestling. I have been Spaz. Subscribe up there, talk down there, get something going, start a conversation, and I will talk to you later. Wow!